Ted in Dearborn. How are you?
Oh, real good. How are you?
Not bad.
I'm calling about the Texas rewriting history thing.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering. You guys are Texans, right?
Yeah.
Do you know the history of Texas? Where it came from?
No, I'm a transplant.
I know a little bit about it.
I know. Just
we're both. Yeah, we're
smidgen.
both. We were born elsewhere and migrated. We got to Texas as fast as we could, as they say.
Wow, this is really surprising to me because what I've heard is, and I'm not a historian, but I've heard that the war between Mexico and Texas was like the first war about slavery on this continent. Am I right or wrong?
I don't know.
Don't know.
Okay, well, this is what I've heard. Okay. Spain, when they made the land available, I think it was like 20,000 acres or 2,000 acres, it was a lot of land. They were giving it to people, and they could come in, and as long as they farmed it, they could have it. But they also had to convert to Catholicism, and they could not have slaves. So when the and they did that so they would discourage Americans, because Americans was predominantly Protestant at that time. In fact, they didn't even celebrate Christmas until about Civil War time. That's when Congress still met on Christmas Day up until around the Civil War. But that's beside the point. When the Texans were settled over there, they had papers for their slaves saying that they were indentured servants, that they weren't slaves, to give to the government, so they could see, oh, we don't have slaves. And they signed papers saying that they would convert to Catholicism. And then when Mexico broke away, they made slavery really, anti-slavery. Everybody was anti-slavery except for the United States. We were a third world country at that time. And so when Mexico said, "Hey, you guys either become Catholics or and get rid of your slaves or get out of our land," they didn't do it. And so they went over and they were going to get them out of the country or kill them. And the big massacres happened, and the United States, they fanned the flames of patriotism and anti-Catholicism and went in there and they grabbed up Texas and they took it all the way to California.
Okay,
but,
well, I don't know any of this, and
I learn about the war is that Davy Crockett and Daniel Boone and John Wayne were at the Alamo, and that's it.
I'm pretty sure John Wayne wasn't.
Yeah,
And while
right.
And while I don't have any way of verifying any, I really don't. I'm not that much of a historian for this type of stuff. What's happening?
I mean, if there's any truth to this, I would think that you would kind of seize upon this because
why?
Well, because your government is trying to institute state religion. Okay, this is something that they fought against. Okay, it's something that our whole country ran from England because that was a Christian nation.
Well, my question is, what difference does it make what happened 150, 200 years ago in Texas?
I think he's talking about the revisionist history the Board of Education is trying to institute.
I got that. I'm trying religion thing as just a wag the dog thing.
What the State Board of Education, though, is doing is not, it's different. It's not, you've heard things like, oh, they removed Thomas Jefferson. No, they didn't. Thomas Jefferson's still going to be in the books. What they did was they removed him from a particular section. They are not, there is, in some aspects, some revisionism going on, but it's basically spin. They are promoting an ideology. Thomas Jefferson was removed from a section that talked about influential authors that influenced revolutions. And he was removed and replaced with John Calvin and others. That's the type of thing that's going on.
But what's already happened is we don't even know anything about what happened between the war between Mexico and the United States. I mean, they've already pretty much taken that out of our history books already.
Have they? I don't know.
Well, you don't even know anything about it.
I didn't grow up in Texas, and I wasn't
reading some of these other books by Michener.
Look, Ted, my objection is this claim that they've removed this, and yet you know it. I don't disagree with you that there are problems here. My thing is that you're starting to sound like almost a conspiracy theorist that they're trying to remove this. Oh, you're not going to learn this stuff. And then you're pointing to me and saying, well, see, you didn't learn it. Well, I didn't grow up in Texas, and I didn't give a damn about history when I was a student. That's why I don't know it. Obviously, if it's not like the history of Texas has gone missing. It's not on a milk carton.
Well, you won't find a whole lot of it. I mean, it's like you ask a Japanese person about Pearl Harbor, and they don't know anything about it, you know?
There is an issue right now with the Texas State Board of Education. They are putting a certain fundamentalist right-wing spin. They're trying to institute that in the textbooks that will be used in Texas. It is a problem, but it's a very specific kind of problem, and that's what Matt is trying to point out.
I don't think it's just it's kind of like an ongoing problem that's been around for some time.
Well, yes, that's true.
The whole idea of the winners writing history, sure.
Yeah, I mean, all the different colonies, they were all just different religions. Maryland was a Catholic colony, you know, and
well,
there's nothing in the Constitution that doesn't stop a state from founding its own religion. Only Congress.
Actually, there is. It's called the 14th Amendment that extends the first.
Well, what does that say?
That all of the things that apply to the federal government apply to the states as well.
Oh, okay. I'm glad to hear that.
You're upset because I don't know Texas history, and yet you didn't know the 14th Amendment. See, but nobody's taken the 14th Amendment away. It's still there.
Oh, I'm not blaming you. I'm like I say, it was news to me when I even heard anything about this, and I was kind of hoping that you being from Texas, you would have had some.
I'm not from Texas.
If you caught
living in Texas. I
gotcha.
If you caught the start of the show, I believe Matt mentioned that there will be a gathering at the Capitol to protest the shenanigans of the State Board of Education. We're not unaware that there is a problem, and we're
doing all we can. Yeah, it's just that there's limits. I mean, these are elected officials, and then one of them gets appointed to be the head by the governor, and then they go and make decisions virtually in a vacuum. They can pretty much say the hell with what everybody else thinks, because that's exactly what they've been doing. So we're part of a rally. The ACA isn't organizing, but we're part of it. Next Sunday, beginning at 11 o'clock at the Capitol. We're hoping to have thousands of people down there to let the State Board of Education know that while they can continue to revise history and ignore the public and pollute the minds of the next generation, they can't keep doing it with people remaining silent. And I think once this issue gets a little more attention, I hope we'll see quite a few more of them voted off.
hope you're right.
All right, Ted, thanks a lot.